Today I'm going to be filing a piece of aluminium. If you're at one of the wood benches, then you will have a woodwork vise. Woodwork vise is not good for aluminium or steel. Metal will dent the sides of the jaw. So what you need to do is to put in one of the metalwork vices. On the back of the metalwork vise is a big lump of wood which sits in the woodwork vise. Tighten the woodwork vise up tightly to secure it. The aluminium, it's a relatively soft material, and there are teeth inside the jaw that grip and can dent the aluminium. If you were using steel, the steel's hard enough to withstand that. So before we put the aluminium in there, we need to protect it from the jaws. If we were in a proper workshop, we would be using a pair of soft jaws, which are like shaped aluminium pieces that go in there. But instead I'm going to put some masking tape over it as a cheap version of that, and it just takes the edge off the teeth. So I can now clamp the aluminium in. If you're doing the candle holder project, then you will find there are burrs, little pieces sticking up off the edge that are very sharp, and we need to use a file to file those off. File away from the edge at an angle, just around each of the four sides until those burrs are gone. I'm doing that flat side, and I'll do the other side as well. Watch your fingers. It's very tempting to rub your fingers down the edge to see if they're still sharp, and if they are sharp they will cut your fingers, so be careful. Either just look, or thumb and forefinger in the middle and drag it off the edge to see if it's smooth. Gently, don't get your fingers caught. Now, I don't know if this will show on the camera, but where this has been cut by the bandsaw, there are lots of teeth marks going in this direction. So if you magnified it up, the edge of it would be very jagged and doesn't look nice. Once you've cut your shape out, you will need to file in two ways. The first way is called cross filing. So from my tool cupboard I've taken a smooth file. It's called a smooth file because it's smooth and it's got a small handle, and I'm going to use this to go across the work, cross filing. When I was taught, we used to get told to stand stably, feet apart, one in front of the other, so that you're about, I was going to say an arm's length, but if you hold your arm out like that, vice is there and you're stood here, end of your elbow. The wooden handle, if you're right-handed, with your right hand, if you're left-handed, with your left hand, and then at the other end, thumb and forefinger, posh cup of tea, little finger in the end to hold it. We need to keep the file flat. Let's do it the other way so you can see. Flat as it goes across, so no rocking it, no rolling it. I want to go diagonally across, and I'm just going to push it gently across. I'm not going like a mad thing, and I'm not dragging it back because it only cuts on the forward stroke. If it makes loud squeaky noises, then either you've got it too high in the vise, or you're not getting the angle right. And I keep filing diagonally across until all of the saw marks have gone. And eventually, instead of cut lines going across, I'll get even finer file lines going diagonally. It's still rough to the touch. You can still see, I don't think this is going to focus on this, but you can still see the file marks. So after I've cross-filed, going across the work, I am now going to draw a file. So I hold the file like a pair of handlebars, and I just draw the file along the edge towards me. Gradually, again, I'm only going slowly, I'm only drawing it towards me, and what that does is it smooths away the cross-file marks and leaves even finer ones, even finer draw marks going along the edge this way. Like when it was cut with a saw, it can leave burrs on the edge, so we might need to just gently trim the edge to get rid of the burrs. And that's as far as we can get with a file. Gone for a rather abstract three little curves, sort of like a cloudy type picture, and where I've cut it off, because I'm not very good at cutting curves, I've just cut a series of straight lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, just a series of straight lines. You can see again on the edge of the material where I've cut it there are burrs, so I'm going to use my file to remove the burrs. And now I'm going to use a file to cross file to get the profile, and then draw file to smooth it up. And what I'm going to do is spend time getting the edge right before I try and fold it. And then when I've folded it round, that's when I'll do the polishing of the front bit. So cross filing, I'm right-handed, so I'm holding the thing. Posh cup of tea on the other end, thumb and forefinger. Keep the file flat, don't go straight across, go diagonally, and because it's a curve, I'm sort of rolling my wrist as I go across. And every so often I will take it out and check to see how much of a curve I've got. Let's start on the other one. Place the work in the vise so not too much is sticking out. If you have too much sticking out, it will bend or fold over. And make sure you're comfortable. Don't try and be filing at funny angles. Keep yourself comfortable. If you get too much of a squeaky noise, then reposition it in the vise, or go at a more oblique angle, a acute angle, oblique angle, a steeper angle. So I'm just going across constantly, trying to smooth it. And again, I'm checking to see whether it looks the same or not. It's got a bit of a lump there, so I want to just... If you have awkward shapes, you can get different shaped ones. So this one has got 4 sides, so that's called a square file. This one is triangular in profile, so that's called a triangular file. And this one is round, so yes, you guessed it, it's called a round file. The one I've been using is flat, so it's called a flat file. And then there is another type of file that's flat on one side and round on the other. And because only half of it is round, it's called a half round file. I've smoothed these bits, and I need to smooth the depressions in the middle. So I'm going to use a round file to go in there and smooth those off. I've cut my shapes. I've been cutting that way, so there's now burrs on the back. So I'm just going to use a flat side of the file. Round, so it's all nice and smooth. But let's draw cross filing, so we can see there are the little lines going straight across that I need to get rid of. So now I need to draw file all the way round. Put it in, and like I said last time, like a pair of handlebars, I can just bring it round to smooth away the saw mark. If you're really careful with the round file, you might be able to roll it round to draw file. Now, so that's now got the edge, so it's nice and shiny, but it's going in line now. Any scratches are going in line. The last thing I want to do is polish this edge up so it looks nice and finished, like it would have come from a shop, not from a school workshop. Just deburr the edge again, and for that I'm going to use some wet and dry paper. We can get P80, so if you were able to count the lumps in a piece of paper in a square area, you would count 80 lumps, or sorry, 180, or we've got P400. So same area, if you counted the lumps, there would be more lumps, so they're smaller, so this is finer. The P400 is all I need for this work, and we can use it wet or dry. So I've got a tub of water, so I can wet it. The water helps to wash away the dust so the paper lasts longer and your work stays cleaner. You can wrap the paper around the file, and then again I'm just going to draw file. The paper wears away quite quickly, so you'll see I slowly move onto a fresh piece of paper every time I've done it. You wash your thing off in the water. I'm going to dry it on my apron because I haven't got a blue hand tool around, and you now should be able to see, if that's focused, that you've got a nicely polished edge. If you want an immaculately finished one, then when we fold it around we can spend time with the metal polish. So that's got the piece of the edge shape cut, and I've been round and polished smooth the edges.